Well, hello and welcome to Tam Talks. I am Tammy Hotson-Pillar, and I'm so excited that you've joined me, whether it's on our podcast or you're with us actually on our YouTube channel. So if you're joining us for the first time, let me tell you, we are in the middle of a series called Stuck to Unstoppable. And if you're like most people, you've been stuck a few times in your life. So what I'm doing as a life coach is I'm taking you through the areas in your life that you feel stuck or get stuck, and show you how to become unstoppable. The three areas that we already spoke about on how you get unstuck is you have to master your mindset. You have to think about your thoughts. You have to ask yourself, why am I thinking these things? And you have to actually change the way you think. So you have to master your mindset. So if you didn't hear that one, go back and check out that podcast or that YouTube video. The second thing you have to do is you have to expand your environment. You have to get beyond all of the things that you've done in your past. You have to meet new people and read new books and look at new worldviews. You must expand. And then you have to actually know who you are. You have to grow to go. So you have to really spend time growing as an individual. Once you do that, you're going to move from feeling stuck and processing the same thing over and over to becoming unstoppable. Now, what I want to do in the next few weeks together is I want to talk to you about how to become unstoppable. And one of the areas that you will become unstoppable is when you know your personal ability. You know, as a life coach and as a pastor of a church, I work with people all the time who feel stuck because they don't think they have the ability to do something. You know, I am an entrepreneur. I have started many companies. I have worked with people that have started companies, and ideas are all over the place. But often what happens is self-sabotage comes in, and we think about something, we process something in our mind, and we say, I can't do it. I don't have the ability to do it. I want to talk to you today about your ability. And there's two sides to your ability I want to talk to you about. First of all, the definition of ability is that you have what it takes to do this. You have what it takes to do this. It is you possess the means or the skill to do something. Now listen to me. You possess the means or the skill to do something. You have ability. So when I'm coaching someone on ability, there's three things I ask them. First of all, you have to look at your skill and your talent. You have to ask yourself, do I have the skill to do that? Do I have the talent to do that? But then secondly, you have to actually ask yourself, do I have the drive and the energy? Do you know how many people have a really great idea, but they don't follow through because they didn't calculate the cost? They didn't realize that it was going to take their time, their effort, their focus, and their finances. So they really didn't calculate the energy or the drive it was going to take. And the other part of ability, you have to ask yourself, do I have the intelligence to do this? You know, there's a lot of us out there that want to do a lot of things, but that doesn't mean we're capable of doing them. Years ago, I was working with a pharmaceutical company doing executive life coaching, and they hired me to come in and to work with their staff that were making presentations. This particular gentleman had just moved here from China, and he was a brilliant, brilliant individual. He had 3 PhDs, and he'd come into this pharma company helping them to develop a new pharmaceutical medicine. And he was brilliant, but they were bringing me in to work with him because he could not present anything. He couldn't talk himself out of a box. And I began to work with him, and I became so intimidated by his doctorates, by his resume, by his intelligence. One night I went home to my husband and I just said, babe, I can't do this. I am out of my league. This guy is brilliant. And my husband looked at me, one of the wisest things he's ever said to me. He said, no, babe, he's out of his league. That's why they hired you. You see, my skill, my ability as a life coach is to teach presentation skills, to teach someone how to stand in front of an audience, to know your audience, to read your audience, to articulate to your audience. And that's where he was flat. That's where he needed help. So my skill and my ability helped him to present his knowledge to an audience. See, what often happens is we look at someone that we've elevated, someone that we think is smarter than us or has more ability than us, and we sell ourselves short in our own ability. You have to know what you do well, know what you can do, and know what you should do. Sometimes our ability is like the nose on our face. We can't even see it. Now, I know I've got eyes and a nose and a mouth, but unless I'm looking in a mirror, I'm not looking at it. Do you know that there are gifts and talents right in front of you that you possess? Passions and dreams and abilities that if you don't hone them, if you don't develop them, if you don't recognize them, you will always sell yourself short. For instance, some of you may be really, really good at communication skills. And you can articulate and you can talk and you can storytell. Do you know that that's an ability that God's given you to communicate? Some people are really good at critical thinking. They can look at something and they can see all the obstacles, all the opportunities, all the flat sides. They just see it because they can have a critical view of something. Some people are just self-motivated, or they're being flexible with something. They're determined. Some people are quick learners. So what you have to begin to do is you need to look at yourself and say, what's my skill? What's my ability? What's my passion? When you know what you're good at, it makes it so much easier to know what abilities you have. The word ability and aptitude and skill and competence all describe very similar characteristics. But the difference between aptitude, now this is really good, so I hope you're taking notes, because in these coaching times together, when you stop and listen and you apply it to your life and you allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you, you literally will be set free to move forward. So I want to give you the difference, and I think it's so helpful. The difference between aptitude and ability is aptitude could be the potential which has not yet been tapped into, where ability is the word that describes what's present here and now. So my aptitude is the ability that I have in the future once I hone something and work on it. Ability is what's here right now and what I have. So for me, I am always growing. I am always going. I am always reading. I am always learning. There are areas in my life that I've been very interested in things, but I didn't take the time to research or learn. Once I did, just like when you're in school, you take the time to listen and to learn and to practice. You literally will hone a skill that will take you to the next level. There's two things I think we have to do before I give you these steps, and they're very important, so listen very carefully. Two things you must do before moving on. Number one, you have to erase the lies and the memories that you are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to do something. You must erase the lies. I've shared before in some of my coaching that I remember my fourth grade teacher, Mrs. McGillicuddy, and I remember her telling me that I just wasn't very smart and that she didn't think that I would do a whole lot with my life. I literally remember her saying that. And whatever her issue was with me as a child, there was something in me either she didn't like or she didn't want to acknowledge. But that lie has stayed in my mind, and I literally always, that's why I remember her name, have to erase the lie that someone said that I was not smart enough or good enough or would excel enough, because the truth is, I am. I have found my niche. I have found my ability. I have found my strength. I've authored books, I've started coaching companies, I've started many companies because I finally tapped into what I can do well, what I want to do well, and who I am. So if you've listened to lies in your past, if you remember from your childhood a parent or a teacher or someone telling you weren't good enough or you weren't smart enough, your job is to erase that lie. But number two, and this is equally as important, you must be honest with yourself whether you truly can and really should do what you want to do. I work with countless people that have great ideas, and they want to start this business or start that company or have this idea. And what happens in their life is because they really don't have the drive, the determination, and the passion, they sell themselves short and they quit. And once again, they tell themselves they're a failure. I'm telling you what, be honest with yourself, with your capability, with your ability. If that's not in your wheelhouse, then let it go. Be honest with yourself, with what you truly should do and can do. In our remaining moments together, I just want to give you a couple steps that I think are so helpful that will help you in identifying your ability. Number one, you have to open your eyes to new possibilities. Listen to me, friend. If you're stuck in the same wheelhouse you always have been, you've been doing the same job, same business, same ideas, same friends, you will never expand. So you have to say what's new out there. So ask yourself, what am I passionate about? What do I look through social media and I see something? I was just with a friend and we saw a really cool t-shirt and she goes, man, I'd like to make something like that. And I said to her, let me help you. Let me put you in touch with people I know. I was in the fashion industry. And before long, all the ideas started growing and she ended up with a t-shirt line because she had the passion, she had the drive. It wasn't something she'd ever done, nothing she'd ever practiced, not a skill she thought she had, but her passion drove her to her ability. So open your eyes to new opportunities. Number two, review your past. I love doing life mapping with my clients. I actually have something called Story Club, and I walk you through telling your story. But do you know when you look into your past, you really can find out what are the things you love to do? What were the things you loved to do as a child? What are the things you loved to do when you were in high school? What clubs or sports did you get involved in? Do you know that will tell you a lot about yourself? Because your heart, your passion is going to gravitate toward the areas that you have a natural ability. I'm in my office right now and we just finished staff meeting. So we finished with a one-on-one basketball challenge. We pulled together all of our staff and we started doing one-on-one basketball. Well, listen, you could tell the ones who had the ability to shoot the ball and the ones who didn't. We had a heck of a good time, but not all of us are going to the NBA. Why? Because we don't all have that natural ability. What are your abilities? Go into your past and begin to think about the things in your past that you enjoy doing and that you're good at. Number three, think about what you love to do. What is it that stirs you? What is it there's a passion in you? What is it that there's a drive in you? A personal story. We have a vineyard in our home. My husband loves vineyards. So we decided to put in a vineyard. He walks the vineyard. He's babied the vineyard. We're going to actually bottle our own label. We're going to have a beautiful wine that we're really excited about. So we had some grapes left over. My husband says to me, babe, why don't you take these grapes and make grape jam? And I'm telling you what, I'm a really good cook. I have a cookbook and I'm passionate about cooking. I got out there and I'm snipping those grapes and I'm Googling how to make jam and I'm up to my elbows in grape jam. And I said to myself, I don't even want to do this. It's not even something I want to do. Someone else wanted me to do it. And I was frustrated in the whole process. Let me ask you, what is it someone else wants you to do, but you're frustrated in the process? If you're living someone else's passion or you're living someone else's dream, you're going to be an angry, frustrated person. So for me, I had to give up the grapes because it wasn't for me. What's your passion? What's your drive? What do you love to do? Number four, identify what you're good at. So as we mentioned, what is that natural ability? What's that thing that you just do naturally? What do you talk about all the time? A good thing to do is to ask your close friends, what is it you hear me talk about a lot? What's my thing that you just see me naturally doing? And begin to ask others that question. And then lastly, it's really important that you have an accountability. That you have close friends around you and there's an accountability with people that can really tell you whether they think you're good at this and you can do it or not. You know, smart people put smarter people around them. And one of the things that I think it's very, very smart to do is to ask people to hold you accountable in your life. So sit down and say, do you see me staying with this before I make this investment of my time and my talent and my resources? Is this something you see in me? And get personal accountability. And then I love to tell people, go to God. Go to God and say, God, is this how you wired me? Is this how you gifted me? Is this the ability that I have from you? Is this my calling? So the way you know you is to know your ability. You know, guys, I've loved our time together. I think this Stuck to Unstoppable is an incredible master course that I've actually done, and you can check it out. But watch all of these. Find out areas where you're stuck in your own life. Ask yourself, how can I be unstoppable with my gifts, my talent, my passion, and my future? I appreciate you guys so much. I hope this was beneficial. Pass it on to a friend. Also, you can check me out on all of my social media feeds, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Check me out at womenofinfluence.today or Tammy at tammyhotsonpillar.com. And please share these. I think these coaching tools and tips are great resources for our friends. I pray you guys have a great day and enjoy the blessings that God gives you. Use your gifts and talents. In Jesus' name, have a great day. Bye-bye.